to unmute myself and say the following words, and that is... You are listening to Let's Go JoJo, the weekly JoJo's Bizarre Adventure podcast about weekly anime from Dynamite in the Brain and Secret of the Sailor Madness. So come along and hang with the Let's Go gang. It's Dwayne.
Hello.
It's Niall.
How are you?
And it's me, Brian. And I've just realised a good test of how well I'm feeling in a given week is how well I get through the opening without cocking it up.
Feels great.
Doing
folks.
pretty great this week. On this episode, we are covering anime that aired the week of the 27th of February to the 5th of March 2022, with the solitary exception of JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, Stone Ocean, Episode 12, Torrential Downpour Warning, in which...
I did forget to check for the podcast when Magnolia came out in relation to this
Close.
comic. So...
Isn't it Magnolia? Isn't Magnolia another 1999 one?
It feels like
Yeah.
it. Yeah, that sounds about right.
Yeah, I think it was just before. It's just so close
It is
to the turn of the
99,
millennium.
yes.
You think it's
Yeah.
yeah.
And this
you think
came
it's
out.
Okay, there we
We
go.
started 2000, so yeah, this would be. This is
Perfect.
Araki's
All right,
been
all
to
right.
see Magnolia. Yes, I think you're right there. I think you're bang on the money.
Hmm.
Also, I guess, yeah, he's probably... How old is he now? I'm trying to think how old... He's like 15 years older than me or something, isn't he? Araki...
But he looks great.
Age. 61.
1,000 years
yeah.
old.
So he'll be a teenager in the 70s. So yeah, he'd be getting all the... Because that was kind of where you started getting like books about weird things happening in the world, like Reigns of Frogs and stuff. And that continued into the 80s. Because we were probably
reading Moo magazine
Yeah.
and like.
So, in this, Jolene takes a lie down and a load of poisoned frogs pour out the sky.
Yep. Runs into a very suspicious priest.
Yeah, the very suspicious priest who's like, I have to maintain my priestly secret identity so Jolene can find out. I'm pretty sure I can see a guy in a giant fur hat hiding behind those barrels, but I better not say anything about it because he might just come out and kick my ass.
Play it cool. You will realize, as a man of the cloth, employed at this prison, I am duty bound to call the guards and see them for them. Please, Father, I beg of you.
It's a matter of life or death.
For 2 minutes, not even 2 minutes. It's just 1 minute. I'm begging you,
like,
Father,
well,
please. Do you have any mercy, any kind of goodness in you? It's like,
and he's like, well, if you come back here within 1 minute, and then I'm going to call the guards because that is my job as part of being the priest of the prison. I gotta. That's fine. I'll totally let you do that, my child.
And in a very, very, very roundabout way, one goes on about kind of like about unconditional love and ethics and that. But it's just basically say, you owe me one, by the way.
Yeah, pretty much.
As she goes to the courtyard, sees somebody in the courtyard and thinks, this must be the man I've got to pass off the disc to.
Yeah, he's got a
I think
cool
it was
pose.
the first thing of you see a priest who looks like that guy with crosses for eyes, and it's just like, okay, this isn't a JoJo's character. This is just a random priest dressed in fabulousness. But you see a guy in the cool pose with the scarf flowing
like,
in the wind. It's like, that's a JoJo's guy. He's important.
Dressed like
Yes.
the brown leather
jacket.
jacket,
With the jacket and everything.
and the red scarf. Yeah.
But when he turns around, it turns out that was actually a prison guard wearing the state-mandated prison cool leather jacket with the patch on it.
For the man, that's not so unlike him.
And
he's got a disc sticking out of his fucking face, so
And she gets shot in the guts for her troubles, and then we get the secret origin of Enrico Pucci. Why is he like this? Why does he do the things he does? Well, that's because when he was a young man, he was in Egypt, and he met an old man who looked younger called Dio.
And he was beautiful. We do need to mention that.
I think he said that, but I met a man from Egypt. This is the wildest looking Egyptian dude I've ever seen in my life. But, that was the least unusual thing.
I was going to say, he's one white guy's head attached to another white guy's body.
He's actually two British guys. Yeah, he couldn't be more white.
He was unusually sexy. Tempting even me, a young man in seminary, to commit deeds untold.
I did like the guest starring Dio, in a flashback, but still.
Yeah.
Dio's talking was like, I figure that I've got a good idea of how to get to heaven. I think I'm gonna write it down. So if you wanna get the secret off me, you can come back and visit me. I got a job for you. I can't tell you about it right now, but it's gonna be very important. I need lots of random guys like you, Father. And didn't make it in time though. Didn't make it in time to Egypt.
Some punk ass kid fucking beat the hell out of him and burned the notebook. That's one of those like home invasions that went awfully wrong, you know. This is a real tragedy. I want to honor my friend's memory and get revenge.
But he must have read the notebook before he burned it, because he read it and then went, "Oh fuck, I must burn this," which means I need his memories. So I've been planning as a prison priest all this time. I was biding my time until I could capture his memories using my stand powers of stealing your stand powers and your memories.
Yeah. Where can I find a steady supply of winning, like, not winning or unwinning, a steady supply of like human experimentation subjects and lots of swamps and alligators for me to dispose of the results? Lord, of course.
Like in comparison to Dio, who seems to take you out for dinner and drinks in order to try and recruit you to his cause. It's like it's a lot less classy. You got to give Pucci's a lot less classy than Dio.
Yeah, I'd almost like want a side story thing where we see like how Dio recruited all the guys who got beaten up during part 3.
Putting the moves on them, you know.
Yeah.
That's what you got allowed them. You just put the moves on them. Into the day when you want a piece of this. Oh yeah. Oh man, I'll do anything for that. Okay, kill the Joe stars for me.
You could do a good bit of it, like just of him recruiting each guy and like appealing to their sensibilities, and each one of them finding him sexy, and then re-recruiting guys like Hall Horse, and it's like, I got a new partner for you, Hall Horse.
Well,
a small child.
At least there is the potential. There is that Hall Horse side story which has come out recently. So. Who's he teamed up with? He's teamed up with like part 4 characters, I think, isn't he?
God friggin' like what? Oh, yeah, I don't know why there sooner wasn't a like what was the team up thing with the Thing in Marvel? Was it just Marvel team up with the Thing?
No, but the Thing's one is Marvel 2-in-1.
That's the one, but with Hall Horse.
Yes,
that's what I want. Yeah.
JoJo's 2-in-1, where Hall Horse gets to team up with random people from different parts of the storyline. Yeah, so we've got Jolene. She's bleeding in the courtyard, but Weather Report is going to help out.
Well, he's bleeding in the machine room or something. Was it It was the laundry room. That was it. Yeah.
I can't help you anymore. Any more than this, so I've caused it to rain poison dart frogs over the entirety of the prison courtyard.
That's a kind of weather, so it counts as one of his powers. Yeah.
It says now between so-and-so date and so-and-so date. In Florida alone, there were 50 cases of rains of snakes, frogs, sheep,
to be fair, it was more like weather than making yourself astronaut outfits out of clouds.
Yeah, that's true. That is more like weather, yeah.
I know. You get some pretty weird clouds. Have you ever seen like a lenticular cloud? It's pretty... a lot of people have. They thought they were UFOs. So... Why couldn't that be a spacesuit shaped cloud?
Of course, finding this quantity of frogs within a distance.
Maybe he was keeping them in. Like, I'm going to keep a cloud of frogs just circulating just in case. I have to bring it all the way from South America. What is the range on his stand ability?
Well,
it's weather. It's all weather.
Much as like. But it's to make like a strong enough fucking like pressure system close to where you are. Just pulls everything in towards you. I believe it's how it works. You know, let's not get into fun. Isn't that Karaage completely did? He did just enough to bluff and make it sound like he knows what he's talking about. It isn't like Dr. Stone where they're hiring somebody to. Like,
it's just after you've gone from the previous episode where they're talking a lot about the specifics of vacuums, and
yes.
And then you move to this of like, just whip up a whole load of frogs.
Look, just so you know, stay tuned, look forward. This is not even the strangest thing that Weather Report's standing. You think
I
this
love
is
it.
strange?
But yeah, it is.
Yeah,
part
yeah.
of the fun is the discrepancy between the various uses.
And I do always like the JoJo like explanation of it. Just like, no, I'm the announcer, and I'm about to explain that it can totally fucking rain sheep, you guys. So why not poison arrow frogs from this specific part of South America?
Exactly.
You know.
Anyway, this prevents the guard from finishing Jolene off, which is
Because he gets poisoned with frogs
yeah. I
exploding
think
on
they also
him.
like hit his gun hand because he's like, what am I supposed to be doing here? Oh yeah, I've got to kill her. I don't know why.
I'm under orders to kill her. I don't know from who, but I better shoot her in the head. You're gonna get shot in the head now. And then frogs.
So Poochie's like, these are poisoned dart frogs. And so he has to use his stand in order to keep the frogs away from him.
Yeah, he's locked in the corridor between the yard and the laundry room. So he's calling for a guard to help him out. And he's
well, they said it couldn't be done, but those frogs, they've finally broke through the glass ceiling, and they're like, killing humans now on the level of an even larger predator. They've really come very far. Also, point down.
yeah.
Oh yeah, and his peril is that he's dropped his pass card, and
yeah, and loads of frogs have exploded on him since it hit the ground.
And
so he's like, well, I should call in that guard from the yard because I have him still under control. He's like, hey, guard, come here and give me your pass card. And then, which of the guys got dissolved in toxic waste in RoboCop?
In RoboCop,
yeah. It was specific. It was the pose and everything. Where he's like, you gotta help me, father. And it's just like, no, don't take your card out now. God damn it, he's already died to frogs.
You call it fucking like, guard junior baby kids his first day, but saying, oh shit, oh Jesus Christ, the frogs coming on. Yeah, let me out, will you? Oh, I gotta go after Bishop my superior if I can do that. It's like, go for God's sake, I'm gonna die, let me out of here. So Poochie's phone saying, look, I got this stand. Give me a disc, White Snake. Sha. I also told him not into just people, but also into animals. So I just need one frog. I can control frog. I command you explode 10 meters away from here, causing poison to explode in
the guard's eyes.
Guard Babykins' face.
So he's like, "Hey, if you let me out of this thing, then I'll be able to call for help for you." And somehow the dude, blinded, manages to crawl to save Poochie.
Just follow the sound of my voice. Come over here.
And and Poochie just kind of leaves him to be poisoned in the eyes. It's just like, well, fuck that guy. He could have just let me out in the first place.
And Jolene's protecting herself by weaving like a net over herself, so the frogs don't make direct contact with her.
But the frogs are splatting on the net, so they start the goo, frog goo, starts leaking through. Poisonous stuff starts leaking through.
Looks pretty bad. So for some White Snake out just to scope out. I'm going to retrieve that Star Platinum disc as well. Not that I need it, but it's just a fee because I finally avenged Geo against the Joe Stars finally. It's like, look at her there, look at her corpses lying there under a pile of frogs. A bad way to go, but at least now she's finally off my hair. Now I'll just reach down and grip this disc, just want to leave all these frog guts. Like, lassoed straight off his hands. What? How? You should be dead.
But yes.
So
that's right. I made a blanket out of the live frogs because they only poison you when they explode on you. Apparently, not I thought it just they secreted through their skin. But again, don't worry about it. Just go with it. Live in the moment.
And
I do appreciate the amount of Poochie hiding behind pillars and whatnot while he seems to talk to White Snake as if it's like a separate guy from him, which is interesting.
It does have his own little personality,
which we have precedent for.
Yeah, we do.
White Snake is not
as
sassy as what's his face is. Yeah,
Echoes.
I mean, like who is really? Yeah.
But yes, the person here sent by the Speedwagon has been here all along. It is a pigeon called Savage Garden.
A pigeon with like, I guess like a specific locking mechanism for a CD. Which is just wonderful, yeah.
They've trained this pigeon to catch CDs for its entire life.
I love how heroic they make the pigeon out in the music and the animation.
And it'd be one thing if it was just like, it was a pigeon all along, of course. But it's like, hey, fucking Whitesnake, go grab the guard's gun who died in the fucking courtyard. Whitesnake is like, son of a bitch.
Click, click, click.
I wasted all the fucking shots. God damn it.
He used both bullets on Jolene. In this fun, like at least use like 11 shot minimum handgun.
So Whitesnake gets away with the disc. So while that won't mean Jotaro is going to be revived, it will mean his body won't rot away, which is good. Oh, sorry, I'm mixing up my things. Yeah, sorry.
Savage Guard is the bird. We don't know if he else. Unfortunately, we don't know if the pigeon also has a stand called Savage Garden.
I would hope so, but you never know.
Yeah. And then Whitesnake's annoyed, and returns to its master, but there's a string attached. But Poochie notices it and severs it before Jolene can find out who is in control of Whitesnake.
Who its user is. But like, I do appreciate it was going to like punch in Jolene's head at several points, but it's like, okay, I got to shoot that pigeon. Oh, I got to go. There's guards coming and I have like a limited range on Whitesnake.
Can't blow my cover.
Yeah.
And then this is finds himself as like, no, this is fine. Cool. Nothing's gone wrong. Everything's fine.
Prime numbers.
I still have the memory disc. 3, it's like, that's the bit I wanted.
7.
I was only hanging on to Star Platinum for the love of Dio, basically.
11. 13, 17, 23, stay calm. It's all the way up to 183.
Is that supposed to show that he's...
I'm fine.
Like, is that supposed to show that he's smart, that he knows all the prime numbers to count when he's panicking?
I think so, yeah.
It's a weird kind of flex. It's like, I know all the prime numbers, which I count when I'm panicking because I'm in a lot of deep shit right now.
Which is good. This puts him into, and it's nice that unlike in 5, we get to see the villain being this panicky bastard so early.
We get to see him not only be a panicky bastard, but we're getting to see his interactions with the prisoners he mind controls and all that kind of thing, and says like really dickish things in a way that a sermon kind of is.
Yeah.
Like you were saying with Jolene, this is like, it's all about like unconditional love and shit. And it's just like, I have to say this because I can't say I want to fucking kill you because that's not a thing a priest can say.
Yeah. He's going as well for a few kind of like, pithy little lines when he's like, I'll send my snake out to the courtyard because my snake won't be defeated by any lousy frogs. It's like, yes, these snakes can eat frogs. Yeah. Wait, we use that one for a long time. The cleverest thing you'll say, Poochie, and no one's around to hear it. Whitesnake, clap for me. Good one, boss. Really good.
And then I guess the three of the stand users who are in the fight for the last 3 episodes are all injured. I guess they're going to get taken to the medical ward, and
Jolene is going to get done for trying to escape prison again, which means, what was it, like 6 months, or actually it might be longer, a few years onto her sentence again. Why not?
Double secret probation.
Do we get Sports Max's name at the end?
Yeah, he says Sports Max. I didn't actually because I heard it saying Sports Max. I was like, what?
They call it Sports Max for short. It isn't related to what was that? It was like a clothes shop, wasn't it?
It's I think it's it is a clothing brand again, but it's a fitness and sports shop in Ireland chain. So I was confused. I was like, weird one. Okay, fair enough.
According to the wiki, he's named after the Max Mara Italian fashion business. Yeah.
Okay.
As opposed to a weird combination of Sports Direct and TJ Maxx.
Yeah. One here to detect this bone. I see if you can use your stand power on it. This is a human bone. Do you ask too many questions? Just do what I told you to do. Okay, strange melty stand man.
And now all we have to do is wait for Netflix to upload the next lot of episodes. Is there any word on when they're arriving? Netflix, Stone Ocean, episode 13.
Uh,
5 days ago. Of course, I'm probably going to be given loads of these articles where it says, we don't know when it's going to be back. But we've made an article for the title because we just want the SEO.
So you click it. Yeah.
People think it might be April the 1st that it comes back.
It's a very important date in JoJo history.
So yes, we won't be Let's Go JoJo next week. We'll be back to being Let's Go.
That's all right. It's not the best place to end it, but it was like a good climactic, bizarre JoJo episode. Like I'll just make a net of frogs to protect me from these frogs. All the kind of beautiful stuff that you want, from a mad fucking JoJo episode.
It's kind of a low energy ending of our heroine lying on the ground for most of the episode, but
bleeding out basically for most of it. Yeah,
but the Poochie stuff makes it an ending type thing of like, oh, now we've got his origin story
because it's like the villain full reveal. Yeah.
And had his day ruined. Had his $800 trousers ruined. He's like
oh yeah, he did get
breaking it in a collection plate, obviously. So yeah.
But from this week, we've got Life with an Ordinary Guy who reincarnated into a total fantasy knockout. Episode 8, a guy who reincarnated as a fantasy knockout and a choice. I'm trying to think what the choice was.
Fuck. I remembered specifically because I remember watching. I was like, "Where's this choice coming into it?" God, I can't remember now off the top of my head.
The first part is, the first part is basically a discussion of who gets experience points when we're in a fight.
So he has a rabbit, a small innocent rabbit tied to a stake, and it's like, okay, I'm going to hold your hand as you murder this rabbit with a knife. And she's like, please, no, don't make me do it. It's like, it's okay. This is an experiment. Like, okay, you get the XP because you were holding the knife. Or I think it's proximity is how it's working because you didn't kill the Kraken, but you had one of its tentacles still on you.
Yeah,
so that's
it's essentially like the discussion you get when you play particularly like 80s D&D, 90s D&D, where it's like, oh,
I got the kill shot, I should get the XP.
Well, you're a different part of the dungeon, you don't get XP.
Let's level the whole party, because that's always the most miserable part of playing an RPG, is leveling at different rates. Just like level the whole party so everyone is on the same rate. So you get to that bit in the story where you can split up and you gotta use all the guys you don't normally use. They aren't completely fucked and you gotta struggle your way through this bit of the story.
Then Shem, that's the trader's name, isn't it?
I remembered the choice now. The choice is, do you want to be with sexy man or sexy woman who is also a man? That's the choice.
So yes. Yeah. So she's gone to the loo after they've eaten the delicious rabbit stew.
But she's weirded out because he's like standing outside. Because he's like, well, I can't fucking take my eye off you now because that only got us into trouble the last time. I was like, I can't pee if you're just standing outside the door, dude. Stand outside of the magic apartment door.
With an N. So then Jinjuji's looking at Shen's stats, which I guess is a thing that only he could do.
I think the guys who are isekai, the guys who are players in the game, can look at stat sheets. Because the other guy who was like of the goddess of night was could look at his stat sheet as well.
But I think this is the first time we looked at NPC's stat sheet, and he's like,
no, he's looked at the bandit stat sheets before as well.
So he's like, you say you're a trader, but look, he's looking at your skills. You've got assassination techniques level 2. Who are you really? And he's like, well, if I was really after you, I could have put something in the food. And then he's like, I did put something in the food. And he goes, oh no, I'm getting hot. He's poisoned me. I'm going to have to take my shirt off. And then this makes Shen really perk up.
One of his stats was body appreciation.
Yes, appreciation of the human body and eye for beauty.
So he's like, oh, we're doing this now. And he pulls off his shirt. It's like, all right, come on, let's fucking go. And I thought it was going, my worry was it was going the gay panic route. It didn't. But it was threatening.
But it's always a threat. Always a threat in this show. But I don't think it's ever actually going to go that route.
No, no. It was just trying to. It was my bias as to fucking watching any anime beforehand. It was leading me down that route.
Particularly
Yeah.
because there's a lot of resemblance to Satoru Akahori things, which I guess again don't tend to be the gay panic thing, but are probably less progressive than this is, having been written in the 90s. And the impression you get is like, still not entirely sure that Shen's gay, is that he might just like muscular bodies.
Yeah, as in, I don't think either of our two leads are gay. They're just in love with each other, and that's fine.
Because then Tachibana comes back, and she's annoyed that Shen's appreciating Jinjuji's body, so she ends up doing the Yakuza grab the shoulder of your top and tear it off.
Everyone takes their shirts off.
Yeah, and then he's like, I don't want to look at your terrible puny body, your soft body. I want to look at his hard rippling body.
And of course, he is going like, I can't look at her. She's going to curse me more, and I'm going to be too fucking distracted to fight off the poison I've just gotten. So I got to look at this hard man body. And it's like, he's made his choice.
See, he likes me more.
Clearly, he chooses my body. You know, that kind of...
Yeah, so that's the choice gag. And eventually, the reveal is that he was doing this because it wasn't poison that he put in the food, it was medicine, because he was afraid that Jinjuji was fatigued, and he needed to use the healing potion and then apply pressure points on his muscles. Because that's what his assassination technique really is that he can. He's a masseur as well as a trader. And
Kenshiro could have become an excellent masseuse if he wanted to. Yeah.
And but he still ends up getting thrown headfirst into the ground and made to walk 10 meters away from the rest of them. He stays with the party though, even after all that.
I mean, like your man still did break his cart and let his crocodile run off. So it's just like, I have ruined your entire business. So yeah.
And then they get to the city where they worship the god of love and beauty. So they're going to go to the temple to find out what this prophecy is they're supposed to be following. And
they kind of let Shen take the forefront a little, because he's like, I can get you into the garage because you are going to need travel papers, but I can blag my way past that. But I'm not going to walk into this temple with you, presumably because he knows the bullshit that awaits inside.
He's also received a bird has delivered him a notice with the drawings of our heroes on it, but it's in the language of this fantasy world, so we, the viewer, don't know what it said about them. But
is it wanted for crimes or wanted because they're heroes? We don't know.
The drawings of them are very funny because they're drawn not realistically, but in an entirely different style to what the anime is.
They're drawn by someone who's not very good at caricature and portraiture.
Yes, because Jinjuji's eyes are completely in the wrong place on a human head.
But he had glass bits in front of it. I didn't know where his eyes were going to be. Yeah.
And yes, Jinjuji is worried that this is going to be, if we go to this church, it's just going to be like a nightclub at a pool party at a nightclub, or a nightclub pool party.
Yeah, and it's gonna be all like sexy times because it's the pervert goddess, and it's just like, but we gotta go here to do research on whatever this Dark Lord is. But a nun greets them, and it's just like, it's all cool.
I feel terrible for thinking this. And then before they go into the inner temple, she asks them to put on the garb of their cult, which is the tiniest posing pouch you can imagine and the tiniest string bikini you can imagine. And then they're like, oh, no, it's exactly what we thought.
So she's like, initially, it's like, you got to wear these thongs if you want to be led, if you want to see God, if you want to see the temple. And they're just like, okay, we'll both go change. And they both go up behind the change. It's like, yeah, all right, and there. It's like, yeah, we're okay. And then when she gets out and she's like wearing the thong, but then she's trying to cover up because she realized Jinguji has just come out in his suit again. And he's like, yeah, I'm wearing it underneath. That's fine, right? And then I was like, oh, I didn't realize you were embarrassed, young one. And it's like, I tell you what, I'll give you my garb. And she rips off her thing. And she's wearing a string bikini as well, because of course.
And then they open the doors and is exactly as he imagined it.
And he's madder that it's exactly as he imagined it, because it's like, well, that means that I'm as perverted in my head as the fucking god of love. Oh, I hate this. I predicted it exactly correctly. Just a bunch of hot people lounging around a pool, basically.
In tiny swimsuits. And
yes, of course.
But then someone notices on the back of Tachibana's neck is the symbol of their god. And they're like, this is a heretic. How dare you adorn your body with the holy symbol? And then they're going to get into a fight, which is over within a cut. It like cuts from them all about to... Oh, they chain him up with a spell, don't they? Change Juji up with a spell.
That he can only get rid of by...
declaring a loyalty.
To the goddess of love or something.
He's instantly broken out and starts torture racking everybody. And then he just puts one guy up, and then
it doesn't matter if you're a nun in a string bikini. He is gonna like break you on the wheel of pain. I also appreciated him going like, I didn't like your stupid fucking god anyway. And he takes the underpants out of his pocket and just throws it on the ground. He's like, what, you weren't wearing it underneath? Of course I wasn't wearing it underneath. It's just like he's being very, like, as sacrilegious and all as she's being by having the symbol of the goddess of love. He's just being like super sacrilegious in the church out loud wrestling people to take the heat off her, basically.
And then someone from the palace arrives and says, "These are the heroes. Stop attacking them." And next week we'll get to finally meet the other characters who are in the opening credits and the closing credits. Which I've already watched that episode. It's very good, and it does a thing which I was like, oh, that's an obvious thing to do, and I hadn't occurred to me that they'd do it. So another good episode next week.
Excellent.
But yeah, I really like this one. The stuff at the start was fun, and then the stuff with the cult was to be expected. I love the antagonistic relationship they've got between the god who's chosen them to go on this quest.
Yeah, I kind of want to see that more in RPGs where your god or your patron or whatever as a cleric or whatever class is like, you just hate that fucking god. It's a curse that you're forced to serve this god. Your powers are just like, I hate this stupid prick. That's funny. It's a good take on it. And this episode works quite well in terms of being like the two different funny plot threads that it wants to do. It's got a decent break between them.
It does, yeah. It doesn't. And there's enough time spent on each one.
Yeah, exactly.
No sign of the devils. I don't know how long this is. Is this going to be a 12 episode? I think it might be a 12 episode one, because I think people say it's going quite quickly through the chapters.
Okay.
Then we've got I'm KODAMA Kawashiri, episode 8, Life with Karaage.
Fried chicken is pretty good, right?
Which was very confusing for me because the video on the Crunchyroll beta froze once you put the package of Karaage out, but the sound and the subtitles continued. So I was like, boy, they're cheaping out on the animation even more this week.
It's a life hack.
No, there are good shots of us. Like, the good thing about Karaage is when you buy it, you know you're going to get Karaage, and then you can smell the Karaage, and you can turn around from your workstation and look at the Karaage on the table, and it's like, I'm going to have Karaage later, and you can sneak a bit of Karaage.
You know that's there, it's we'll wait off your mind. It's oh boy, if I can finish this, whatever the hell I'm doing, I guess this chapter of the comic I'm writing down, also writing this out. You see, it's already fucking like paying dividends right now. It's ever giving me ideas for more comics to write about it. It's a wonder. The blessing upon this house, never I have it.
I can assure you, Brian, there are animations of reacting to Karaage being in existence in your vicinity, basically.
Good.
Not just the still image.
But I was like, this is interesting approach. Because I'm still getting the sound effects of everything else that's actually really happening on screen. But yeah, I've never seen the beta thing do that before on Crunchyroll.
Was that on the app or on the player?
On the player in Chrome. I've definitely noticed other weird things that the beta does in Chrome. Like sometimes it'll be playing, but you'll still get like you'll be able to see the square of where the pause and the play button is.
Yeah. Like it has the outline or the shape of them. Yeah.
There was also an actual an actual like kind of weird tip. One weird tip.
Oh, there is. Yeah.
You can have fun with salt and beer. It's like, all right, so let's see, you've had a few beers in you. It probably helps if you got a few beers in your way before trying this. But you get
That does seem to be a prerequisite.
It
Yeah,
says
yeah.
like, okay, here's like some snack tips. Is salt going to be your snack? Don't be like that. KODAMA KAWASHIRI before say no. You get some salt and you put it on right on the tip of your tongue. You
Just let it sit there.
You just can't keep it there. It's like, don't move it around because no, you're not supposed to be able to taste salt. Tip your tongue. Tip your tongue is supposed to be like what sweet things. I don't know. I think that tongue matching is a little gobbledygook.
I think if you leave it on the same part of your tongue for too long, like your tongue can't taste it anymore.
Yeah.
If it's not rolling over your tongue, basically.
Anyways, everyone just leave it there as long as you can, and then crack open a cold one. Just fun. It's just plugging that down. It makes it like 10 times more exciting. There's a life hack for you.
I feel like this is you're bored and drunk hack, but yeah, that works.
Well,
try it yourself at home.
She is a dangerous life hacker. It's not it.
That's true. That's true. It's not good advice. It's certainly advice.
This felt like a very tame version of this dude. I think he lives somewhere in like fucking rural China. His videos just kind of like come up like an apparition sometimes. He's just like got like a rake of like liquor in front of him. He's got like beers and whiskeys and things. He like does things like that for fun. Knock back a bit of the beer. Then he grab the whiskey bottle and pour some out like that. He like dab his fingers in a strong spirit, fucking light it on fire, get a cigar while his fingers are on fire and start smoking that, and then put it into the glass, and the glass goes on fire. He puffs it out and then knocks that back. It's like a very extreme drinking tough guy.
I thought you were going to say he drinks a whiskey drink, he drinks a lager drink, he drinks a cider drink.
He's done all that, yeah. All the remixes as well.
One place where they won't be doing your drinking is in Ninjala. Episode 8, Infiltrating WNA HQ, which is
I like the way the plot shows up, and then the guy's like, "Yeah, but we don't have time to resolve that right and so on now, so you're gonna have to do the whole promoting this video game thing." And they're like, "Yeah, that makes sense, actually."
My favorite bit of this episode is the how Bareka uses Burton as a grappling hook to get into the
yeah. So I tie you to one end of the string, and I tie the other end to me, and I hit you with this baseball bat as hard as I can, and use your propulsion to drag me. Unless that was a thing in the game, because that would be a fucking cool thing in the game.
So I was working a cartoon once. We're scientists. Besides this, we're Mythbusters. We're going to try and bust this myth. Actually, you can do that weird cartoon trick of doing that. And you can fly through the air.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It comes like a semi-serious, like a sneaking mission. When we use ninja transformation techniques to disguise ourselves as two of those like models with like the retractable little barrier in it. You might see at an airport.
Yes.
Let's say.
I used to know what they were called. They've got a specific name. Yeah, and they're much heavier than those poorly designed guards who've got always.
You mean the exact same design bald guy, basically?
Yeah, pretty much.
Who left these out? Someone could trip over these. You're right.
Also, the cat has got in, which is important for.
Oh, the cat does it appears in like a puff of ninja smoke as well when it first appears, and I was like, okay, yeah, I knew it was a ninja cat because it's an essential ingredient in ninja gum, but yeah, okay.
So that's how it keeps getting into the cat food, and we're not around. It's just evaporating in.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes, they break in. They find some stuff, but they can't get everything. But they get the connection of like the cat sets the alarm off, and then they avoid it because the guards find the cat instead, but the cat is in the arms.
Well, it's the principal saying is I was like, oh, it was just this poor kitty that did it. Also, I did appreciate the old we can't find the server room. I know it's on this floor, just leaning against the wall, and then the flipping around wall. And when the guards come in, it flips them around on the opposite side. I was just like, yeah, this classic cartoon stuff. I assume
your old guy was there the entire time while they were hacking it.
Oh yeah, for sure. Like he knows they're hacking the servers. He doesn't know specifically why, but
he knows he gets the back. Then he learns like, oh, okay, yeah, the gum's safe for children, but if an adult takes it, they turn it into a child. Why is Alan pressuring it, despite the problem with the gum, and why is he trying to eliminate people who know about the problem with the gum?
And like from checking the server room that your records are completely wiped on it. And they looked up the records of the guy who worked with them.
Ron.
And were his records wiped, or was he on the run, or whereabouts unknown, or something?
His records was there.
His
They
record?
found his record, yeah, but
yeah. So, but the idea that he was missing, it was just like, well, why the fuck would he be missing? You know, and also, why did they wipe us off the thing? Your man's like, okay, so it's best for you to keep your heads down, because even if you turn back to adults, they'll just murder you. So pretend to be children, and that way they won't murder you. Probably this place is pretty safe. Yeah. I mean, it's filled with ninjas. We're good.
In a way, having a records wipe means you can start a whole new life. You're the perfect. Perfect one for my kids on the inside. You know, I can just like go along with this, and we're both at the bottom of weed out where the actual corruption is in this. Who would think that there'd be underhanded like plotting going on in the ninja world? It's never heard.
I thought ninjas were on the up and up. Yeah.
And then we get a bit more of the training stuff at school. This is where Burton realizes, oh yeah, I guess I do need to stay in school anyway because these children are much better ninjas than I am.
After getting like one whacked with a Nerf bat into the wall that many times. Not all of the Nerf bats are. Some of them were giant like comedy hammers. Yeah. Again, they look very threatening, but then they're just like the silhouette is very threatening. And then you see it's just like a shoe on the end of a stick with a bit of dog shit on it. Still, you don't get hit by that, but
Yeah.
Jane receives some information about the WNA, which then leads her to be pursued by ninjas.
It might have been a trap all along.
And runs into Ron, and then at the end of the episode, while the fireworks are going off, the pair of them are blown up and killed. We'll never get to see them as children, or we'll get to see them as children next episode.
They took the gum in the nick of time.
I assume so.
And jumped out the building.
Yeah, so lots of focus on the adult characters in this episode. I guess we're going to actually get
the ninjas. The kids just show up to beat the shit out of the one adult who's not been doing his ninja training.
I guess we're getting focused back on the kids a bit next week.
And then eventually those other two will be shrunk into children, and then half of our child cast will be adults.
Emma and Lucy's fun-sized adventure. So are they getting shrunk? Or
is it because they're already very small?
I don't know.
Burton's having a stroke. They gotta go inside his body to dislodge. Because you have to be a protein check, just clogging up all his vessels.
I'm kind of disappointed that he's going to take his ninja training seriously now, because I kind of like how incompetent at being a ninja he is. Like, I'm just going to use my body as a grappling hook. He gets caught in the fan that they're trying to sneak into in the building. I was just like, yeah, he's terrible. That's where the fun is for him.
Get slammed to the wall. Well, as Edison once said, fuck Edison, he was a dick.
And next on the docket is Ranking of Kings, episode 20, Immortal versus Invincible.
Yes.
Is that the one, or was that last week's? I thought it was last.
No, that was this one.
Yeah. Okay.
Because this is where Boss actually decides to do something.
It. Yes, I remember now. Yes, gotcha. Yeah.
But we do start in the world between here and the afterlife.
And the River Styx.
Yeah,
that's right. Yeah.
We've not had the scenes from the comic, have we, where we get a flashback to Despa training Bebin? No, because there's a thing he does that in the comic, which makes this sort of thing a little bit more sense.
We've seen young Bebin.
Yes, but we did that.
Younger Despa.
We've not.
We had the bit with No, it wasn't in that. I was thinking of the bit where his brother was remembering his training, and I was just that wasn't. It wasn't in that part. Yeah,
there's a bit in the comic where he trains Beb. We learned that Despa trained Bebin as well, and he does it through like a mind palace type thing, which they can both enter. And I was like, oh, then yeah, Despa being here, that makes a bit more. This isn't such a big surprise if you've had the scenes of like people shared mind places.
Yeah, if I would have made as well as the Daida trapped inside his own body with his father's soul, scenes. And the list is
A bit more like, why is this happening? Yeah.
It's a fairy
more sense.
tale. Don't worry about it.
Yeah, that's true.
And yeah, I'm going to guess that it's the secret technique that we've not seen from Boji is not the thing, which I think the thing he's just done in the comic is because they say they're going to take the wounded to the captain because he's got a technique for healing wounds.
Because he's got a technique to stop bleeding.
Yes, I think
yeah.
At some point Boji's learning that technique between.
That was very good with your man, kind of going. It's like, okay, come on, Boji. I know we're here to see your mother and all. And it's like that's really nice and everything, but we got to get back to being alive. And he's like, he gets back alive. He's like, I'm still stabbed. I thought someone would have healed me.
Oh god, that hurts.
It's not a great way to come back to life, no. But yeah, they do get the two mams do get to have a conversation with Miranjo.
They do get to give out.
Yeah, fair enough. Like,
she's such a nice girl.
She has been very bold, so yeah.
Well, she's also been through a horrendous ordeal, but
True, yeah.
Alice is helping.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I think the most important thing we learned in this episode is that they mentioned that Boss and Miranjo betrayed the devil.
Miranjo betrayed the devil twice.
Yes.
Yeah.
Which is that's more betrayals than most folks get away with the devil, honestly.
Yeah. So that's an interesting one. I one thing I didn't like in the River Styx bit with Boji's mom, kind of like just cracking her knuckles. Like, what, are you gonna hit me from over there? It's like, no, it's just a bad habit. I got cracking my knuckles. Sorry. I've actually forgiven you. It doesn't matter. I'm fucking dead, so I'm over that shit. But I like the way it was basically there going like, dude, fucking cop on a bit. And Boji was kind of looking at his man with a big threatening giant woman. It's just like, you can see where he gets his kindness from as well. Like, because she was just like, no, I've forgiven you. It doesn't make any difference to me. I'm fucking dead. That kind of way. I thought that was a good way to get that across. So he got to have that reaction of, it's similar to Kage last episode, of seeing your dead mother, and going like, okay, well, you be good, that kind of thing. It was nice.
But then, as they're on their way back, Des was like, okay, you're a great kid, Boji, but can you kill Miranjo? And he's like crying and shaking his head, but he's like, yeah, you're the boy I thought you'd be, but he's like, there's no one who can save her at this point. Because
well, it might have been a test of him. It was like, would you murder this person who like killed your mother? And he's like, no, that sucks. He's like, oh, thank God, because if you get murdered, there's nothing I can do to stop you.
Also, yeah, I mean, the plan was for him to beat his dad up. Well, there you go. And
yeah.
And yeah, so if the mirror gets destroyed, then the devil will finally get to consume Miranjo's soul.
Yeah, the next time, I think the devil said, the next time I put you in the mirror, but the next time you die, you don't get to go to hell or heaven or anything. I get your soul.
Yeah, I do wonder.
Pretty harsh.
I guess we're going to get another flashback of the stuff in the opening credits with her cavorting with the young devil.
The young devil. You see a brief cut of him like going where as a devil child.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
as a hell boy, if you will.
Yeah, I wonder if what he wants is the same thing that Miranjo wants with Boss, is that he wants to spend an eternity with the child Miranjo who was with Dida and has now left Dida.
Like he cares or cared for that part of her, that kind of thing. But it's also clear that obviously since the child version of Miranjo left Dida, that's why she's able to cry again at the River Styx. It's just like, why do I feel bad for all the bullshit that I pulled all of a sudden? It's almost like the emotionality that I've separated out of myself is back in myself. I don't fucking like that. So she's questioning whether anything she's done has been good. It has not been good. Yeah.
And then Boss steps up to the fight and beats everybody up, but including our good guys. But that's all clever plan to put all the good guys in one spot away from Oaken.
He wasn't hitting them with his giant club. He was shoving them with his giant club.
Because he's got Boss's power condensed into Dida's frame, he's even more powerful than when he was a giant.
So he's like a giant if you like compressed it into a diamond of a child, basically. Yeah. Also, the one person who could heal them is, I guess, him, because he's got his mom's healing.
Yeah.
And he heals the whole freaking garden full of guys, which is good because everyone was stabbed up to shit.
It was a little bit as well. I can sort of come across that way. I can beat the shit out of you, and I can heal you back up. I can beat the shit out of you again if I want to. I can buy you and sell you, so don't mess around with me.
Yeah, that's the thing which plays out at the end after they're like, okay, we can't defeat Oaken, so we'll let Boss defeat Oaken. But then, Boji, you're going to have to kick your dad's ass. Can you kick your dad's
ass? And Boji's just like getting excited. It's just like, oh, I want to fight this guy. Yeah, this sounds rad as shit.
Oaken is just like a mild irritation now. He's just like, give the one swing of the club, he just like obliterated like left half of his body. He's just
like the fact that Boji is deaf, I think, plays into this because everyone else, especially like Oaken's brother, is looking at this scene of horror before them and just going like, Jesus Christ, this is fucked up. But Boji can't hear the screams of Oaken, so when Boss takes the bits of Oaken, gathers them up into his hand, crushes them into a ball, and it's like, oh, he just reforms from that. What if I put him in a big rock and just carefully putting the pieces in and just the screams? And I was just like, fucking hell. But I was like, oh, Boji can't hear any of this. He's fine.
Didn't you both think, weren't you like maybe hoping a little bit after he crushed him down to the ball? He just goes like...
Yeah, I was thinking for a second he was going to baseball it because the way he was tapping the ground very like baseball style, I was like, no, he was just looking for a big rock to seal him in.
It was also pretty bad, you know, you just stuffs him there, just to...
Terrifying, fucking terrifying. And Boji's like, oh, I'm gonna fight this guy, and then it's like, Boji, maybe not, bro. Maybe.
Oh man, when Joel's just showing up in the corner. Devin's got white as a sheet now, and he's an assassin, so you know it's just freaking him out.
Other fun animation bit is the bit where Karage's sitting on Dinah's head and like pulling his face and his eyelids.
It's just like, you son of a bitch for hitting Boji. Yeah, and he's just like, you can do nothing here, Kage. But it flail ineffectually. It is very funny. Yeah. Another good looking episode. Another horrifying episode.
Yeah.
Yay.
So 3 more episodes to go on this one.
This one, 3 days and 3 nights they fought inside and outside that castle, leveled it to the ground. Baby, we don't know. Then
we got Detective Quest. Dragon Quest, The Adventurer Die, episode 72, The Last Attack.
This is the last episode, right? This is like this is it.
This was after this. Like, I got to today. I was like, did I watch it? I'm sure I watched it, and then I skipped through it again. I was like, oh yeah, I did watch it.
Yeah, that's what I mean, man. You know, this is like, I felt like, you know, the one prior just felt it was so kind of fucking just pulled out. Whereas this one they went around all over it because all that big climax said it kind of get a majority of it and get all of it into the first half, and then there's a whole new set of stakes getting introduced, like one right then and there that we have like haven't even fully dealt with and had like the denouement and the closure of this first showdown. We're already having to fucking deal with this other danger that's been thrown up us again. It's like, man, whoa, give us a chance to breathe here. But that's King Byrne for you. Never let him.
Yes.
Never give him a chance to even take a breather. You know, always piling the pressure on him.
Like, because every other fight with the chess pieces, with the exception of him, it has been like, you were a brave fighter, and now our conflict is resolved, and I get to have a little speech, and then I'm going to explode like a bad guy would. But in this one, it's just like, okay, and then they'll have that, but the bad guy's like, I think I'm going to dick with you partway through, and it's just like, yeah, of course they're going to dick with him, sure.
Before we even get time to shake hands for a battle well fought, ka-choom, fire trap. Oops, did I leave that there? Ah, shoot.
Because for half a second, because I was thinking like the old version of Hadlar would have been like, let me just shake the hand of the man who beat me. I got a sword in my hand, idiot. I'm gonna stab you. That would have been old Hadlar though. This is new Hadlar.
We should say what
even dies a little bit, like, you know, like he means it.
So from last episode, as you pointed out, Brian, even Hadlar's like fucking like. What's it?
Zapple. No, not Zapple. He puts it in the sheath, and the sheath's had a power.
Zapple on a sword. That's like, but the sheath is the power up. It's like that's an old fucking move. It's like no. This magnifies it by 10. It upgrades the spell that I put into it.
Yeah,
it's a pretty
basically.
like do a quick draw and saying, oh yeah, we'll put it into the sheet. Quick draw. It's even better. That's a cool way to make it.
He's combined Avon's attack with his dad's attack to make Giga Strash.
Yeah, because he's expecting the Giga Slash or
Giga Break.
But then, like, while they're flying towards each other, he flips his grip, and it's like, what the fuck? It's like, you got me. That's pretty cool, actually.
Do you have that planned ahead? No, he just came to me in a fight. It's like, wow, you're excellent.
That's the kind of motherfucker I'd lose
Let's
to.
have a handshake.
Man.
As I'm bleeding out on the ground, I'd like to shake the hand of the man who beat me. Shit, you're trapped in the 9 of diamonds. Never mind.
Yep, fucking Kilburn is there. Did you like that one? I call it the death of Hadler and die. Yeah, well, what's it that title? But anyways, I got the full deck of cards here. They're all trapped. They're all somewhere in this building. Can you find them all? I hope not. Oh, you better hope not.
So 9 of diamonds is you got a diamond right in the middle of their handshake that has interrupted it, and a bunch of 4 diamonds on either side of them that hellfire is erupting from, and is all going to get sucked into the middle where they are, and no one can get in to this big pile of fire. They try Grand Cross on it
and protects them to a degree, but
by using ice to hold back the fire. Basically,
3 of them trapped in there.
And it's like, well, this is an absolute kill for 2 of our guys now as opposed to 1. This situation got worse, so they try Grand Cross. I'm gonna try Grand Cross. Watch out, Pop. It's like, it does nothing. It's like, Mam's like, I'm gonna punch it. Doesn't work.
Can't use Kigaliba.
Having to go at Leona as well. She's like, it's just fun laying it all off. I was saying, okay, it's fun like this. It's fun. It's just like fun. It's very hard trap. I'm saying, Leona, fucking those are fun buddies trapped in there. How can you be so calm? I'm not being calm. And she's fucking gripping her fist so hard that she's drawing blood out of it.
Yeah, but panicking isn't going to fucking help the situation. So when they realized that Kilburn ran off after doing that, it's just like, because if we took him out, it would cancel his spell. But he obviously ran away immediately.
He's hiding in a cupboard somewhere. He knew that this one would happen. He's just being a dick now.
Yeah, I saw the titles for the next 2 episodes, and I guess the thing I was never expecting to happen, but I knew is happening soon. So I've got to know how to get to that point.
Okay.
Yeah, I guess we see next week is Hadler appears to be like protecting the other 2 boys by lying on top of them,
shielding them with his body and crying.
Yes.
It's all going to be very sad and very manly.
Yes.
I imagine.
It's going to take him a long time to disintegrate because he thought he was on his way out this episode, but he gets to hang in.
Well, he literally put all the rest of his life in a sword that immediately fucking broke when he used it. So it's just like, well, I've obviously got nothing left. I was like, clearly not.
You can find a little more willpower somewhere, depending.
Yeah.
What it is. Yeah. But you got this moment, as you can see behind you, Dwayne, the real good build up there, got the full on, like the portraits,
the pastel colors. I love that. It's just a classy look. Yeah.
And it was just like, fun. Okay, we want to do run at each other and hit us maybe the best shot kind of thing. But it was still a good looking kind of thing. Maybe the best shots out of a job, and you could feel the impact of it when it happened. It was pretty cool.
The final attack part was good, but then the victory and the catharsis of it is immediately taken away by the dickhead villains who are still a threat. Obviously.
Yeah. Well, I liked the fact that they do that. It's just like,
exactly.
They'd be the sort of dudes who would attack you while you're doing your transformation sequence. They would like jump in the middle of that fun saying, well, if you're just gonna fly around combine and stuff, we're just gonna come in here and kick you in the nuts, Well, it's fair game, right? Well, this isn't fucking like Dragon Quest's fun adventure of best friends. It's fucking trying to take over the world here. Come on.
Then tell me all about My Dress Up Darling episode. I assume this is 8 or 9, not 89.
That happened weirdly.
A lot happened.
It is episode 9.
I saw that photo.
Yeah, I bet it did.
Yeah, I didn't catch it initially until after I looked at the comments. I was like, oh, he had a wank. Oh, okay.
Disgusting teenagers.
Yeah.
With no morals. like, go to check it out. Whoa, what you got in there? Wow. I just got like a really fucking like very riding up in me really high bathing suit. You know, thought we
to go for the cosplay. Yeah.
Yeah, it was
I thought you'd want to see it so you'd know like what kind of thing you're working with for the cosplay.
Leave me.
And it's like,
what? Leave me.
And it's like, yeah, you didn't. I saw you. I saw the notification that you saw the photos I sent you the last day of the underpants I was trying, but you didn't fucking respond to them. It's like
Don't
a
leave
lot
me
happened
on
after
red.
that.
Don't leave me on
Shot
red.
a box of tissues in the foreground, and I was just like, oh, I missed that the first time. I don't know how I missed it. But
well, he's not made of stone. You know.
I do appreciate it comes across as less. It's definitely creepy, but it comes across as slightly less creepy because clearly she's trying to entice him. It's just like, I'm sending you pictures of me underpants and showing you my underpants in your bedroom. I think you're hot, bro. That kind of way. Like it's not working on him. He's just like, I had to do something so horrible. It's just like, yeah, you're a teenager.
I suppose it's you gotta appreciate the honesty of it. These aren't like fun. These like, oh, it's a perfectly morally upright, like, you know, TV, like squeaky clean teenagers. Fun saying, nah, like, you know, they're
teenagers.
They're good. You know, they're fun. They're learning things. They're trying, like, you know, give you better people, you know, branch out and you know, enjoy your hobbies together. But you know, we're gonna have a wank every once in a while. We're not gonna pretend that doesn't happen in the real world. You know, that'll be lying to the readers and the viewers.
It fits into their general remit of realism. Is the rest of the episode is mostly the photo shoot in the hospital, and then like a flashback to make more context.
Yeah, so we're getting that set up. We got all like the costumes are done. Like JoJo knows on all the lingo, all the technical like glossary and terms. And saying he's got to pop this out right here. And I'm thinking, yeah, maybe you know this kind of thing. But no, so you guys very much sound like you know what he's talking about.
Yeah.
Marin's like, well, this part's like like John, this one, oh, well, floof, you know. He's like, it's okay, you don't have to try and put on air.
Don't strain yourself.
Just say you like it, just say it fits well. Okay, it's all we need.
But yeah, the day of the shoot, it's really overcast and raining, which is good because they're trying to go for the moment where that character broke. So they'll just have to do a little more lighting just to get the right light. But the mood is fucking perfect. So yeah, they're entirely set up for that.
So they're getting set up. Hey, where are those two? Where's Gojo and where's Shinji with the camera already? And then it's like on the day when they're scouting the location. All right, sure, I'll catch you later. But I'm going to stop in these shops on the way home, and I'll catch you home later. Okay, sis, I'll be going ahead of you. And it's fun saying, I don't know if I'm talking about. I think Gojo brings up what I'm saying.
Gojo starts.
But notice, like, back when we were meeting in the cafe there, we started talking about cosplay. It's like, have you ever cosplayed? Ever thought about doing it? And it's just more than anything in the world, but I haven't got the confidence to do it.
I haven't got the confidence or the skills to do it, and she wants to cosplay a very specific character from the same anime. She wants to cosplay the younger girls, the magical girl's older brother, I think, isn't it?
So the character, she's one of the they don't just like spelled this like draw onto him, you know, he's so cool and assured, and he's always there for his little sister. So, quite the same way, like, you know, my sister is like, you know, supposed to be of inspiration and confidence for me. I want to be there for her in the same way, as that's the way I kind of like protect myself into the program. And he says, "Cool, I'm making a costume for it. Haven't got a lot of money for it, but we'll figure something out." If you just
because she's a younger kid, so she doesn't have. I don't think she can work even part-time legally. So it's like, okay, so we got a way less budget, but most of their uniform basically looks like my uniform, so you can just borrow my stuff. Yeah. Unfortunately, he nearly gets shot by one of his own shirt bullets because of her massive bosom. That's what they keep alluding to this whole fucking thing.
There's nice kind of thing in there about, like, you know, okay, you kind of respond to seeing this character in this media.
In personal distress,
I think it's like fun.
Yeah.
I really fun to get to that now. I really love to fun to do like a costume of that for something. But I'm not really like much like them. You know, I'm not the right height, or I'm not the right whatever like this. And it's just a bit like, well, isn't the whole thing about cosplay is that, you know, you just be whatever you want, you know what I'm saying? Like,
you can transform into your your ideal thing, a thing that you aspire
Yeah.
towards, because she aspires to the characterization of the thing. But if you can transform into the character, you can feel like you can embody.
It's
that,
just
that
like,
kind of thing.
you're this height. You shouldn't be cosplaying those kind of characters. You couldn't be that. Or, oh, like you're this nationality, or you're this race. You shouldn't be cosplaying that. But I'm saying, well, you do know this is all like making up your stuff, right? You can kind of be whatever. This isn't like all real things. These aren't all real characters. You can just like be whatever you want. It's all making uppy. So just fucking.
And obviously the
Go on.
younger sister is worried that her older sister is going to be like, no, the cosplay is my thing. Your thing is taking pictures of me cosplaying. It's just like, is she going to approve it? And she's like, Gojo's kind of like, I'm sure she will.
Yeah,
and
but
that kind of thing.
the Duper man, just one thing. Yeah, you look funny, like just like your man from the show, and it's like, and they both going like crazy for one thing. It's like, wow, so cool! Oh my god, you look so fucking cool.
I thought he brought another guy in. I didn't know who the hell you were.
Both
That kind of
flying
shit.
out like that. She's just like, did fun, good job, like be able to figure that out in the subs as well. Just like have two trains of like enthusiasm and excitement flying at you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
There's a nice bit like, and I liked the variation on constructing a cosplay thing. It was just like, well, we'll just use a school uniform because that's what he dresses in the thing. It's like the most expensive thing is like $30 or something like that for the it's kind of like a breast compressor.
Yeah.
I assume for cosplay and possibly for trans people, but it seems they were just like,
oh,
that's fucking pretty cheap.
For shaping.
Exactly, but like cosplaying on a lower budget, that kind of thing. And I was just like, I like that they're actually getting into that a little as well, because they probably have less than $50 to do this whole thing.
Like, he'll do commission work, but we got to like work within our means here. Yeah,
exactly.
It's just okay, we've had like this kind of the puerile kind of comedy before, but it feels like this is stepping. It's putting its toe on a line here now.
It's always really doing that. That's just the show I'm used to. Yeah, it's testing it's testing me constantly, I find.
Yeah, it's just like, but Gojo's being super awkward about this. No, he's just here to make the clothes. He's not being, he's not enjoying this at all. He just admitted having a wank over a phone identified that she sent him at the first start of the episode. So who knows what's going to happen?
Yeah, that's all.
Like go with that, and then kind of listen to the voice. It's like, I'm not sure.
That would have been better, like in a different episode, basically. Yeah. Because like this is generally more creepier because obviously she's way younger than him, whereas this other girl is obviously lusting after him, and it's more appropriate for him to have a wank in that situation. What an odd sentence. I don't like that sentence.
Yeah. It's a little bit.
There you go.
Mostly,
Yeah.
I can deal with a certain level of this, but hey, I was a teenager once, believe it or not, so I know how fun pure like it gets, and while it's leaning into that, it is very good at that. It's just like, this has gone in a direction of the kind of anime that I don't like to watch, because it gives the anime that is good, that we try to watch, it gives all that a bad name, so I don't want any of it.
And again, how it displays teenagers, both for the good and the bad, the kind of realism it kind of goes with. I appreciate, I like the different aspects of cosplay that it's presenting, and how that's a positive thing. But it's gotta stick in those creepy bits. It just has to do that every freaking time. Well, you let me know when you want to quit, man.
See, I was right if I'm like, there's going to be like trouble ahead with this, but maybe they can kind of sidestep in some other way and say, no, they're just going to go with it, It's just going to trot out this old shit again, are we? I thought you were better than this, but it's up there. You would find like new ways to be kind of puerile in a more kind of, in a more fun way and less voyeuristic. This just seems like it's going too much voyeur for me, and not enough just fucking kind of like those kind of things played off as being just it is pretty hilarious when your pants fall down, rather than it being like this kind of sexy kind of fucking show. It's funny because like the pants fell down. It's funny because you will admit having a wank when like that's.
It's more like human and fallible.
Yes,
in that case. Yeah.
I know. It's on thin ice. Let's see if they can get through this photo shoot without any horrifying incidents, please.
Yeah.
You should have joined us on the Isekai one, Niall. Should have joined us on the Life with an Ordinary Guy who reincarnated a total fantasy book.
How was that the less fucking horny one? It's crazy. They went to a sex church this episode. Madness.
Yes,
Yeah.
the
But
awkward-
those these are
awkward-
all like
yeah.
adults who should know better. And
Yes.
even if they don't, well, hey, it's funny. It is funny when their clothes fall off. When all their clothes fall off, not just the ladies.
Yeah. In fact, the ladies generally seem to remain more clothed than the men.
Oh, well, yeah. When we said your one took her shirt off earlier, she was still wearing her entire frilly nightshirt thing that she wears as
Yeah,
an
her vest was
undergarment.
still
So
on,
yeah.
Yeah, it's it's much more wholesome than in tone than I was expecting. But at the same time, the reason I watched it is because it's directed by one of the Odd Taxi directors, so it does have that going for it as an enticement. And then we've got Lupin the Third, Part 6, Episode 21. Welcome to the Island of Bubbles. More traditional horniness here.
Well, like a very, very idealized.
Yeah.
Well, also definitely the character designer who decided I just want to draw a Ghibli heroine, but as an adult with a massive rack, but then also dressing like a children's TV presenter.
I never quite picked up on that until it was like a certain in the latter half of the episode. It's like just turn the profile a certain way, and it was, oh god.
I think the way it's done is like a lot of the time that she has her little sketch pad in front of her, and she's like drawing that constantly. So when she literally has to give the sketch pad to the lads to read her notes, and then her entire dungareed rack is on display. I guess it's not trying to be saucy, but it's absolutely trying to be packed.
Yeah. It's absolutely a choice a character designer made.
Yes,
because her face is so Ghibli heroine as well. The combination of the two is like, well, that was someone's decision. And then maybe
I don't think it was the bad decision, because obviously she's
somebody else's decision. Says, yes, you can draw that, but put her in dungarees.
Yeah, the least sexy pants. Yeah. So I'm fine with it as a design, because obviously that does have a Lupin connection, and the one that most people have watched. But the other one is you also have like her aspiring or being inspired by Fujiko, who is drawn as a sexy mermaid for a bunch of this episode. So
it's a fun story where it's like, what if a character was observing the Lupin gang and made up their own story about them, and then convinced them to act out their story, which is drawn in the form of animation storyboards.
Yeah. It's pretty great because you get a combination of like one character, the girl doing all the voices of them when she's like seeing them meet up around town, and then also those actors acting out those roles, and I was just like, oh, this is fantastic. So they're having a lot of fun with the weirdness of the premise, which is
completely what the actual dynamic is. So it's seeing someone else someone say Fujiko is sitting down having a coffee at a cafe. She's approached by this very mischievous, smoldering stranger. It's Jigen, and she's just going, this must be like a suitor from her past who's approaching her now with some platitudes of love and saying, my sweet, how I long for your touch, etc. Like, oh, monsieur, you flattered me. He's going, the fuck you think you're doing? What's 70% of the cup just before supplying the tips? Fuck off with that shit. Fuck off. What's it?
Yeah,
that's just what I'm fucking worth, baby. You can pay for it or not. It's just like just cussing each other out.
Like the actual premise is the Lupin gang after stealing big old sacks of euros, have gotten stuck on this island on the way from between A and B because the bridge got broke because Fujiko decided to come in style.
Yes.
I think basically. So they're all stuck on this island where there's literally nothing to do except for fish and the really crappy mermaid tourism industry. And this little girl is like little girl.
Grown woman.
This young woman, likes making up stories that the old fellas like listening to and that kind of thing. Apparently, her mom was involved in the tourism industry. Not clear what happened there, but
we see from like when she's when she's going on her final flight of fantasy, which is much more accurate to when she's like, what if the madam was a spy? And I'm going to grow up to be a badass woman like my mum and the madam. And we get a shot of the mum looking like a badass fisherwoman and Fujiko like James Bond, but a lady.
Yeah, I think the only other shot we get of the mem is that tourism poster they have of all the old mermaid tourism board, basically. Yeah.
So yeah, she ends up like convincing Fujiko to act out her story by promising her the mermaid fish, and gets the gang to read out their part. The other gag is that she doesn't see the Lupin as like one of the suitors.
Yeah, she sees Goemon as an ailing student samurai who's traveled from the past to win the heart of this mermaid. It's a very complicated plot. There's a lot going on. Oh, and obviously Jigen is a traveling musician. Because look at him. He looks like he plays piano.
How does Lupin get his neck in a brace?
He got whipped when they were
when they got to the island. Yeah,
the trapped the cars in each other when the bridge went up suddenly.
Yeah,
he got whiplash. The rest of them were cushioned by giant bags of euros, so they were fine.
And so there's a little play, and then the mermaid has to pick one of the suitors, and she picks none of them because they all need to grow up. And then Lupin decides, once he sees Fujiko in her mermaid outfit, he can't control himself and leaps into the giant glass bottle that she's sitting in. And he gets sent...
Where did they find that?
He gets sent flying. And I like the fact that we also see, once he goes flying, you can see in the background the position Fujiko is in, because they've thought out, like, what position does she need to be in to kick Lupin out of this bottle? So she's, like, lying on her back with one leg in the air.
I mean, like, they also put a lot of thought into it because she obviously removes the mermaid costume and she just has like a small piece of cloth to hide her privates, basically. Because she's Fujiko. At what position can we put her in to be nearly naked but not naked? Yeah.
She's an optical illusion.
Mm-hmm.
And then they eventually leave without the mermaid because she was leading them on. But then we see, there was actually a mermaid all along. And there's a part 1 story where Fujiko dresses up as a mermaid, so I think it's also a allusion to that story as well. Because obviously this is making allusions to part 1 in various ways, most specifically the coat colour he's decided to wear.
Yes. Yeah. Besides the kind of outsider perspective of reading the gang entirely fucking wrongly, which is a lot of fun. I did also like the amount of Jigen and Goemon hanging out, because generally they don't hang out. And it's like fucking nothing to do, and it's just like they start enjoying fishing with the old men. And
we should mention they're doing the performance for the old men when they're acting out the stuff.
Yes, the old men are all there going like, "Woo, yeah, great job."
Again, there's not a lot to do around here, so a bit of amateur theatre is not going straight. I'll delete it up.
Yeah,
it's another light and frothy episode. This one feels even frothier than last week's episode. But then we're going to get back to the plot next week as we delve into, is it My Mother's Documents? Is that the episode title?
Something like that. God, if that sounds about right, yeah.
Mm-hmm. A letter from me, mammy.
You want them to go the extra level of localization. That's the word I'm looking for.
Dear Lupin, why are you ever going to settle down with that nice lady Fujiko?
I was going through that sentence and I suddenly remembered that Mrs. Brown is in the new Medea movie. And then I was very much distracted by that thought.
Jesus, fucking hacky comedy with men and drag as old ladies.
I was going to say, are they going to do like poor drag representation cinematic universe now? What the fuck?
I was wondering if they were going to get in Eddie Murphy in as the Clumps for the next one, and just make a multiverse of female impersonators.
They just expand out fucking Jack Black's fake trailer, Tropic Thunder. It's like no fun. Yeah, they would say they're from a parallel fat universe, and they would bring them in too.
Dear.
Yeah, I'm almost tempted to watch it. It's straight to Netflix, so it'll be with us soon.
No, I will never watch that.
Well, let me know if Mrs. Brown and Medea team up. They're initially versus, but then team up to fight the real evil.
I don't think it's a cameo. I think there's from what I was reading, the character is in a good chunk of it, and it may be like more Medea focused than these ones normally are, because normally Medea is like a side character off the main plot.
Yeah, it'll be like Mazinger versus Devilman, you know.
Yeah,
like the guy I can take down the real foe, whoever that is.
Yeah, there we go. That's Lupin and my momentary distraction of a forthcoming comedy film, quote unquote comedy, quote unquote film. That's it for this week, I believe. Is it Detective Conan back with us?
I think it was the 12th.
So that'll be this Saturday, so that'll be next week. There's one other thing from last week. I think it was last week. The last episode of I Tsushima aired on YouTube.
Oh, I'm not caught up at all.
93
I didn't realize it
was
had
the
ended.
last one.
Jesus.
Where,
I'm way behind.
Basically, the episode is basically Oji-san saying how much she loves each cat, and then she looks out the window and tells us, the viewer, that she loves us as well.
Oh, we're all cats.
Ah, that's nice.
So it was a nice ending to a nice cartoon, even though occasionally the cats did seem to attempt to kill her through unintentional means.
That's a lot of pets. I'm not going to blame cats entirely.
Yeah. I think the penultimate one, she was like rubbing her face in Tsushima's belly and blowing, and then Osama wanted the same doing to him, but then once she did it, he didn't know what to do about it and got panicky and scratchy, I think. It's a fun thing because it's like the cats do develop as the show goes along. It's not like Osamu softens up as a cat.
It's funny that like we watched the nicer looking one, the more animated one of that, but that was like just like a preview for this really long running series.
It like 105 episodes in total with the TV stuff. I think people were a little thrown because it was like, oh, surely he's going to end on 100, but no, just 7 days ago was the last episode, so there hasn't been one since then. So we're back Tuesday, is that correct, Niall?
Whatever you want to, because I will not.
Oh, of course, you're not here next week. Wednesday then.
Wednesday's fine.
Detective Conan back. I'm out of here.
Wednesday's always a little easier.
John Law is on my tail
because I haven't used up talking energy in a work meeting in the afternoon.
Oh yeah. Sure.
So
I just figured because it's an extra day to watch things. If I'm feeling
there is that
lazy.
as well, but it's mainly the talking energy because sometimes a work meeting turns into an extra podcast if you're the only one talking. Right, we'll be back next Wednesday then. Goodbye for now. Right, I'm going to hit this other thing and see if this works. And then I can just hit the end stream button.